No! No! No!
Horror Pop Extravaganza.
Welcome back, all you beautiful souls out there in the world. This is it, another episode of the Horror Pop Extravaganza. Where the macabre meets the mindful. I am always Pops Ghostly, and with me today I've got the beautiful, the radiant, the ever hilarious.
Duke of Spook, Duke Spooky.
You're the spookiest. You're the spookiest.
The spookiest, dookiest.
I wasn't as excited at the beginning of this episode. Normally, I come in with a big, bright song and things like that. I felt that was unwarranted. I felt
For
that
this movie.
for this movie. I felt that was, it'd be like if I showed up to your funeral and started singing and dancing, unprompted, unrequested. If you did request that, I'll probably do it. This,
If I wasn't gonna request it, I am now.
right? I will make it happen. This movie, arguably one of the most controversial pieces of cinema ever captured to celluloid on many different levels. The cast got fucked with. We've heard the stories of Hitchcock and shit and Stanley Kubrick, various other directors really being hard on their people. When you read about the making of this or watch any kind of documentary about it, it's fucking scary, the level of shit that these people went through. And even out of protest, the one girl I had read, she's like, I don't want to be naked on the thing, and he just like pulled her off the set for a second and just fucking screamed at her in Italian for who knows how long, until eventually she was just like, all right, I'll fucking do whatever you want, just stop screaming at me. And that sucks.
Yeah, it does.
That sucks. But that's not even really the biggest controversy surrounding this movie. The controversy stems from the graphic nature of the subject matter. We get to see real animals killed on screen, which, I do there, and there's a lot of pushback, and I get it. Like, you shouldn't be fucking killing animals on screen. Especially when they killed the fucking pig, dude. Like, I guess the one guy had become, friends with the pig a little bit, and he's like, I can't fucking do it. And the other guy's like, I'll fucking do it. And they just shoot a piglet right in front of you. That's terrible. But there were arguments on the other side. They're like, Apocalypse Now did the same kind of shit, and everyone's like, it's the greatest fucking movie ever, one of the best. No, like, I kind of get that, man. But this is just brutal from start to finish.
Brutal's a good word. That really sums it all up for me.
It is brutal from start to finish. I almost changed my mind at the last second after rewatching it. I was like, fucking, should we go down this road, man? But you had never seen it. And it is important. It played a big role in found footage, the idea of a found footage movie. This really is, rewatching it, 100% the first found footage. I don't think of anything else, because this is literally go to the fucking jungle and look for some tapes, and we're gonna watch those and we're gonna see what happened. I picked this up. I think I saw it right after it hit DVD or something for the first time, and I could finally get my hands on it and watched it. It's not something I go back to often.
No, why would you?
It's
Fuck.
For conversational purposes. Like, really, that's about it.
This.
Because I have seen it. There was a little era there where I showed a couple Navy buddies and shit, like, yo, you got to see this fucking movie. But after you've seen it, it's like, I don't know if I want to go back and visit that place. And we are talking about 1980s Cannibal Holocaust. This is the result of the exploitation boom. Cannibal Holocaust is not the only cannibal exploitation movie. It's just, it was a fucked up way it was made. It's the really visceral, experience that you have with it. Where some of the other cannibal movies, they have their moments. It's like, ooh, that's super gross, but you never really tricked into thinking like some of this shit might be real. And whoever did the effects and everything in this movie, it is unfucking believable, dude. I'm
Yeah.
like, that looks so good for being, 45 years ago that you put this thing together. That still looks really radical. But there was the, nun exploitation, black exploitation, fucking cannibal exploitation, prison exploitation, all these different exploitation things that were running through the grindhouses. You could make them super cheap. They would kind of come and go on waves and stuff. And it was like, okay, fuck this year, fucking whatever, prisons are popular for exploit. Let's make a prison escape movie. All right, let's do it for put nuns in there with their titties out. Perfect. And we got to fucking, but that was the model, that's what you did. So when they went to make this thing, they kind of did some of that. They were like, "Hey, cannibal shit's popular right now. Let's make a cannibal fucking movie." And so before we get any further into this, why don't you jump onto IMDb? I would love to hear what they think this is about. A lot of Italian names in there that I'm excited to hear you try and say. Phil used to love it when we used to do German class on those movie guys, trying to, yeah, trying to guess that they're getting them the same. So anyway, lay it on us, dude. Internet Movie Database, Cannibal Holocaust. Let's go.
Cannibal Holocaust from 1980, unrated,
There's no way you rate it.
1 hour and 35 minutes. Yeah, I wouldn't even say that R is suitable for this,
Hmm.
nor NC-17 or X. There's no rating system in the world that is prepared for this sort of movie.
Right. I bet you know what's even crazy though is my wife and I were just talking about this, and I promise this will be the only little side note, hopefully. Um, but we've all been watching this dude get shot in the chest over and over again. And when the day after, I think it was the day after it happened or whatever, like on social media, you just open up and there's a video of a man getting executed, like a true snuff film is
Right.
just being played on all our feeds like over and over and over and over again. Whereas this isn't even a snuff film. It feels very intense. But we see that I'm like, how can you even rate movies coming out if you just allowed that? You know what I mean? At the same
Totally.
time,
Yeah.
what's the
That's like
fucking
on social media, unedited. And the same day, a beautiful blonde woman being stabbed to death in a subway in such an intense way that isn't shown in the movies. Because in the movie, somebody gets stabbed and they're like, and they die. She like didn't know she was stabbed till she saw the blood and then slowly like heals over in a very like so that was my week. That mixed with Cannibal Holocaust.
and at least Cannibal Holocaust is pretend.
But it didn't feel that way when you're watching it. It
No, it
doesn't
doesn't.
look
It doesn't.
pretend.
It doesn't
Nothing in
look
it looks
more.
pretend.
All right, continue, please, because we'll get to all that. Nothing that looks pretend.
All right. So this is directed by Ruggero Deodato.
I think it's Deodato, but I could be wrong. I don't know. But yes, and
Deodato, yeah, yeah,
he
Deodato sounds
showed
right.
he showed up in I think it was the second Hostel movie. He's the dude eating a dude. He's a cannibal in the whole Hostel shit, and I was like, that's pretty cool, dude. That's all
That
right.
makes sense. That makes sense. So let's talk about some of the main players in this. We got Robert Kerman, not to be confused with Robert Kirkman, who I was like, what the fuck?
Probably just a baby in 80, dude. I wasn't even born yet.
No. He plays Professor Harold, and he was a porn star before this, and then was hired on for his acting prowess. We got
I was a
Francisca.
porn star before this podcast and got hired on for my talking prowess.
Yeah, it was fucking Pops Ghostly meant something
You know what
totally different.
You know what? Those Stallone did the fucking softcore shit before. So hey, dude, you got to get your start somewhere, I guess. And it
Yeah,
was
dude.
swinging. We were coming out of the swinging '60s. This guy was probably like, "Fuck, might as well just make some fuck."
This
Nobody.
is a step up. You went from like you either did when you were trying to break into Hollywood, you either did porn or horror.
Yeah,
This guy did porn and then horror. So I mean, he just did the natural progression.
fair.
At least he didn't do horror and then porn.
Right. There have been, didn't Dustin Diamond maybe do Saved by the Bell then porn? Didn't he? Or there
That
was
makes total sense. I mean, the other chick did Showgirls, which was softcore
right,
porn.
right, right. Elizabeth Banks. Or not
Elizabeth Banks. That's
no, not Elizabeth Banks. It's not Elizabeth Banks. It's Elizabeth because Elizabeth Banks is like modern funny. Ha ha ha. This was anyway, somebody's yelling at us. Who
yeah.
cares? Keep going. We're trying to keep it under an hour.
Francisca Cardidi plays Faye.
Okay.
Perry Pickanin plays Jack. Luca Barberos plays Mark Tomasi. And then Salvatore Basil plays Chaco.
Who's pretty sweet. Elizabeth Berkley. Berkeley, there you go.
Oh, there you go. See, you were
Um,
so close.
so
All right, let's talk about. I mean, we could go down the list of
no, you're good, dude.
Italian
Go ahead.
names that no one's
Yeah.
ever heard of before. We've actually got kind of a thick one when it comes to the
Jesus.
not like that. Gross, pops. Get your mind out of the porn gutter. We're talking about horror.
Okay.
All right, this is what IMDb says Cannibal Holocaust is about. An anthropologist ventures into the Amazon rainforest on a rescue mission where he recovers footage shot by a film crew documenting their disastrous encounters with the local tribe.
That's pretty good, but I
I
don't
would
think
say
it fully,
disastrous is
I don't think
perfect.
it fully prepares you for what's
No.
about to happen in this movie. And let's just jump right into it because the I've watched a lot of Italian horror cinema, all the different, areas of it and stuff, and just a lot of horror cinema from all over the world. But I've watched a lot of the Italian kind of splatter stuff. The Fulci shit is some of my favorite. But a lot of times it wasn't really plot heavy.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not plot driven. It's like we're gonna show you some fucking crazy fucked up shit. That's what we're gonna do, and it's gonna be gnarly. You're gonna see a zombie pull somebody's eyeball straight into a spike of wood. You know, we're here for that. And so with Cannibal Holocaust, the plot is solid. It makes sense, but there's not a lot of time spent with the plot outside of setting up the next crazy, crazy thing that's gonna happen.
I'll tell you the opening sequence surprised me. I was like, wait, am I watching the wrong movie? It's like pictures of the park in the jungle and shit, and it's just like da 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 da
Right.
da da.
And they're just in the Amazon. And again, with the actual production side, I guess he didn't, really pay the locals well and shit like that. And they all went uncredited and some of them didn't get paid and whatever. But people love Wizard of Oz and shit, but them munchkins were not treated very right.
That's got a point.
They were prostituting themselves around the hotels and shit and just fucking, yeah, the dog got paid more money. Toto got paid more money than the human beings. Anyway, yes, we open up on this serene jungle and then we quickly jumps, I think, to New York. Maybe we're somewhere in some city.
The urban jungle.
Right, right. And they do present it as that. They do present it as this urban jungle, which in a lot of ways it is, man. It can be pretty wild. Not quite the Cannibal Holocaust level wild, but either way. And we've got this anthropologist, and he's like, or I don't even remember who he's talking to, but they're like, hey, this fucking film crew went down to make this documentary in the Amazon, Green Inferno. This guy, this filmmaker, his I don't know if it was his girlfriend or one of them's, but she's there too. And then there's two camera guys. And they went down there and all of a sudden they're gone. We can't find them. We want you to go down and see if you can figure this thing out. Cool. I'm gonna go to the jungle and shit. And it's brutal from the second we get to the jungle, dude. Because we
Yeah.
see them, killing locals, these local kind of paramilitary type characters. They snatch one up to try and get him to tell him, like, hey, where do we got to go to find these people and shit like that. This atmosphere, they're in the Amazon. So this app it just feels fucking sweaty and gross and slimy, dude. I've spent time down by the equator and on the equator, and that kind of jungle humidity is different, man. It's a different kind of, and I've never been to the Amazon, but I can imagine, most jungles kind of have that same, it's fucking 110 degrees and 100% humidity kind of feeling. But this movie just feels sweaty.
Yeah.
It's just sweaty and gross.
And it just seems like life is like worthless down there.
Right, right.
Just like,
And he's got his guide who's the bearded fucking bush guy who kind of knows a little bit what's going on. They see a ritual from the bushes of a woman who apparently lost her virginity and shouldn't have, and so her lover or spouse or whoever, whatever their relationship is, has to deal with her. And now, how did you feel watching this scene on the beach?
this is real uncomfortable, man. Like, this is really bad, dark, shitty stuff to look at. and it's gross, and it's so like there's so much muddy rape in this thing,
Dude.
and it just made me feel yucky from the very start, dude. And I was like, you know, I didn't know what to prepare for, but I knew it was going to be gnarly, but I wasn't prepared for this. Like, there's no way to prepare your mind for seeing this. It's real.
He like makes this mud pie and forewarning, we're going to talk about some really intense things over the course of this episode, but he makes this like mud pie and puts spikes all in it and just starts bashing her genitals with this thing, just like smash, smash, smash.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, and I think this is the guy they end up kidnapping because he ends up beating her head in with a fucking. And we got to watch this for a while.
That's the thing. Nothing in this is just like shot, like cutaways or any of that. This is just footage of torture and rape and killing. And man, why would anybody watch this?
Because exploitation was popular at the time. And I do think there is something to be said, though. He does a good job of portraying, and we'll get there, but the real monsters in this movie, in a lot of ways, it's this bringing out of that. They watch this thing snatch this guy up. Hey, you got to go take us to whoever can tell us where these fucking people went. We're trekking through the jungle, watching animals get killed and shit. Like they kill this little fucking.
That stuff was hard to watch too, dude. Like the animal murder, man. And it goes on and on.
And you're watching it like severed, you know what I mean? A turtle getting its fucking chopped. Now they are eating it and shit. So it's
Yeah. And that's life, it's like life on the farm, dude. Like that's how it is. I had to kill a chicken, dude, and I'm traumatized by it.
right.
But I had to turn my head on the turtle, dude. I couldn't watch it all.
It's brutal, man.
I listened to it because I was like, Pop's gonna call me a pussy if I don't sit all the way through this thing. So I got to make it all the way through. I can't greasy strangler this bitch.
Right.
But I had to look away, dude. Like I just couldn't watch because it just goes on and on and on for like no reason to like be this. I understand you're gonna make turtle soup, good for you, but you don't have to fucking Mario Brothers this turtle before you do it.
Shredder's in the corner, like tonight I dine on turtle soup. Yeah, it's rough. It's tough to watch. And they get to the jungle and they are, well, first, the one dude fucking gets ass naked and he's standing there being tough while they're all shooting little blow darts right at his feet, which is wild. And he's just like, yeah, rah, rah, pushes the things down. Okay, take us there. Maybe trades him a switchblade. They're all like, ooh, knife, pokey, stabby, and end up at some point giving them there's a recording and that they find because they find this totem monument to these dead fucking. We see all the stuff that we had seen on them. We see the camera, we see the reels of film. We know this is them, and it's made up in some kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the opening graveyard, just sick, twisted, fucking put together bones and pieces of stuff. And so now they're going to try and, I think, figure out more. He ends up in the water and they all come in there swimming naked with him for a while.
Yeah, that was weird, dude. I was like, what's going on here?
Right. And it was some kind of rite of pat or him trying to be vulnerable, I guess, or something like that. But that's how they take him and show him where all this bullshit is that we just talked about, all the dead film crew. In order to take the reels and some of the shit, he trades them the recording because he finds the tape recorder that was carried by the people and he plays it. And this is creepy. They all just start coming out of the trees covered in paint and all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? It's just like ghosts showing up out of the darkness and straight. I like they were the tree and then they're just coming out when he starts playing this thing. They're all excited about it. Whatever. They get really, really worked up. He takes the opportunity, they drink, and this is what made me uncomfortable when all the ladies are mushing up the shit in their mouth and then they spit it in the bucket and then he's got a drink and he's like, yeah, have some, it's fucking good. And and it was gross, man.
It was
He's like,
gross.
he's like, okay, we got to do this. So he trades them the thing. We see some of the cannibalism is there. There's, and at some point I want to say they eat it.
Yeah, it shows a dude just like chewing on like a arm bone, just chewing them between the fingers and stuff. I was like, yeah.
Right. And then at some point we see a pregnant woman who has a stillbirth, and I guess that's enough for murder.
Yeah, dude, they just like pop out the little baby and dip him in chicken nugget sauce and eat him.
No, they don't fucking eat the baby.
Yeah, dude, they eat the baby. I think maybe like off camera.
Maybe possible. Anything's possible off camera.
They're not gonna
But
waste
it
meat.
was her tied up to this thing, pregnant, like wanting to have a fucking kid, and then it comes out stillborn, and they just start beating her over the head with rocks. And
Yeah,
this is violent.
so violent. Violent in a way that's like only mankind can create that kind of violence.
Right. Right.
But like Cro-Magnon, man.
Right. Right. And they are pretty fucked up the way they portray these tribes. Like they're all just psychopaths, and you know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
don't think that's like how it really is. I mean, maybe,
There's probably some cannibalistic tribes, but I
but I
think
bet they're cool as fuck,
based
dude.
on,
Like, you could probably hang with cannibals, dude, and smoke some weed and fucking have a little barbecue.
I'm
It's
sure.
probably not a big deal. They're probably not as like fucking killy as that. They're probably like,
In this, they're very like everybody dies for something. If something goes wrong, you die for it.
yeah, if
Just
you have
how,
sex, you die. If you
right.
fucking fart too bad and it smells, you die. They fucking eat you. You fucking have a stillborn baby, they dip it in chicken nugget sauce, dude, and fucking eat it.
I read a book once called The Big Head, and he ate a baby that just came out of someone.
I mean, I get it, like the most tender meat, right? But
No, we do not condone the eating of babies here at the Horror Pop Extravaganza. He gets back to New York and they start to review the footage. And this is where the movie kind of explains itself a little bit. We get some exposition that he has made these type of shock doc features before. There's even rumors that he staged some things or paid some people to do some things. And the credibility is immediately called into question of the footage. They're like, is this real? Is this not real? But we get to spend some time. And we also, this does force us as a viewer to take the time and be like, okay, but I'm sitting here watching this, you know.
totally. Yeah. No, I questioned my whole like part in this podcast of like I was like, we're mixing horror with wellness, but like I was like, this is messing up my mental health. So what are we doing here?
That's why I encouraged people last week. I said, you don't actually have to watch this one. If you just want to live it vicariously through us, you can. We have to take that burden on. It is upon us. We have to bear.
Our
We are
responsibility.
fucking Frodo and Sam, dude, right at the cusp of Mount Doom. Just like we have to be that and bear that unbearable weight. Like, oh, Mr. Frodo, we gotta go pick him up, Mr. Frodo. Can't go on, Sam. I'm fucking Sorry, I think I'm just trying to lighten this episode up and not have to talk about it because reliving it it's hard, man. Um, they start to review the footage. We see some of his early films of people being executed, all the shit that started happening right around, I feel like Vietnam is when it started
That's
getting
what
the
it reminded me
plaster.
of, dude, was Vietnam
Well, there
footage.
was even, I think there was a shot of the burning monk in there as they were taking him away. And I think a lot of that footage, some of it, real world footage. But once they start looking at this footage, this is where the true nightmare I feel of this movie
Yeah,
begins. We've
for
seen
sure.
some brutal shit up until this point.
Yeah, this is where it turns, and you're like, oh, these motherfuckers deserved what they got.
We are the monsters. Everyone
We are the
has the
monsters.
ability to be a monster, even in the fact that he was staging terrible events for views.
But
That
Ramiro did this early on and really nailed that point in a place where Cannibal Holocaust didn't have to keep doing the easy putt. Like it could
true,
have been,
true.
it could have, I don't know. I don't know. What was, yeah, what's the point of this? Exploitation, I guess.
It was. That was the point, is exploitation was popular and it, was a way to make money. I have a book on my book. Well, I guess it's packed up right now, but a Roger Corman book, like how I made $1 million in Hollywood or some shit and never spent a dime. There's ways to do the filmmaking thing and see a return on investment. I was watching Joe Bob Briggs and he had this movie on, and now I can't even remember the full name of it. It was like Muscle Bodybuilder something from Hell, and it was like a Japanese Evil Dead ripoff. That this dude took almost 40 years to get this fucking movie out, dude. Forever. But either way, it was just a way to make money. It was
Yeah.
popular at the time and a way to make money. But once we start watching the footage, we see them get to the Amazon, meet up with their guide who's going to be taking them along. We get lots of footage, get to know these people a little bit.
And when you get to know them, you're just like, yuck, dude.
Right.
Like these people are disgusting.
At first, they're not the worst, but they've quickly become
They
the
become
worst.
the worst. Yeah.
Yeah. And they have their guide who is leading them. And I think we see at some point we see a monkey get its head cut off, and the dude's like and like digging the eyeballs out. And
Yeah.
that's real shit, That was people eat monkeys like that, but I don't think it was right to just put the whole thing on the screen as they just like descend upon it.
Yeah. Yeah. The monkey's too
Piranhas.
human to me. So the monkey is just it was a lot like a little kid. Like a hairy little kid. Don't eat hairy little kids. What's wrong with you?
The more you know. Don't eat hairy little kids. But I can't remember exactly how we get into the jungle. I think they do, maybe they're the ones who
This was
make,
right when I paused it and I said, I'm either too high for this or not high enough for this. And so I went outside and I smoked a bowl and I came back to it. And then it was just images slapping me in the face. The plot no longer mattered if
and
there was one.
yeah, and that's kind of how this movie goes. I'm trying to find a plot, but
Yeah.
maybe there's not a ton of a plot. What
No.
we do see is these people meet up with the tribe. They exploit the tribe. They trap them in this hut and light it on fire, and they're fucking laughing. And
Yeah. Like what the fuck? These are supposed to be like anthropologists, right?
no, the anthropologist was the guy who was going to look for them. These were
Oh,
just filmmakers. These
they're
are
just filmmakers, just piece of
documentary,
shit filmmakers.
right, right, essentially. They're
Yeah.
just documentary filmmakers. But they trap them all in there. They light them on fire. They rape this girl in a fucking brutal manner, dude. It's just like you said, it's mud, it's everybody's covered in
Ugh.
filth. It's just
Yeah, and I
primal rage and primal just gross.
yeah, it's gross, dude. And they act gross. And there's another sex scene in there that's supposed to be like a sexy sex scene between the guy and his girlfriend. And
Right.
it's just like they bone in front of the tribe and everybody's watching and it's
Well,
gross.
and then even the camera guys are like filming them have sex, and they're like, he's like, "Hey, man, stop it!" Like not even really that offended about it, just like, "Haha, this is who we are." And they even
Yeah.
start to when they're raping the other woman, they even get on the other girl that's with them a little bit, and are like all grabbing all over and just really terrible, disgusting things. And then we see the girl that they raped stuck. This was the image that has always stuck from this movie with me: is that pole straight through a human being.
Yeah. Yeah, that was rough, dude.
I mean, and it looks so real.
Yeah, and that was the one where like the court was like, you murdered real people. That is a real person with a pole shoved up their ass and it's coming out of their mouth.
This movie has been banned all over the world. So many different countries still have it banned. You can't
Yeah.
find this. A lot are opening up to it now because I do believe there is some cultural stuff you can pull out of this. The state of the country at the time, it does have its contributions to found footage, but as an experience, it is just consistently punching you in the face over and
Mhm.
over and over and over again.
Yeah, dude.
This scene, dude, I mean, it's just fucking straight up. I'm assuming her butthole. and then right out of her mouth, and she's just hanging off of the kind of pose thing, and that's rough.
I my mind, goes to the places where you don't want your mind to go to. You're like, once you get sat on the spiky pole, how long does it take before you're dead? How deep inside of you does that pole have to get?
Or do they just put you on the top and then let you slide down it slowly?
That's what I'm figuring, and you're alive through most of that.
Because we see the brutality in the way it's portrayed in a lot of these tribes. It's just savage,
Yeah, dude.
savage. And so they burn all the shit up. They fucking rape people. You've got more animal murder that happens here. They shoot that pig, dude, and that is really fucking hard to watch. And even
Yeah.
the guy who was supposed to shoot the pig and couldn't, one of the actors, he's like, dude, this is fucked up. Like, I don't want to do this. And he's like, well, somebody's got to do it. And so the guy was like, I'll do it. And then just fucking
Like all the actors in this, looking back on it, are like, I wish I didn't
I
film
wish
this.
I would have never done it. Yeah, there's a thing on Shudder. They have a series, Cursed Films, and this is one of them that they break down and talk about. But I have watched a big behind the scenes on the thing, and a lot, like you said, a lot of the actors and shit like that are like, "Yo, dude, I wish I wouldn't have.
Yeah, man.
I wish I wouldn't have."
But they're good. There, that's a good lesson right there. Like, how much does your fucking soul cost?
Right. For some people, it's shooting a pig in the face. For other
This is
people,
40 years ago, dude, and these people are still like just bummed out and they don't want to talk about it.
right. I mean, that's a lot, dude. If I was on a movie set and they were like, yo, we're gonna start killing animals, I'd be like, I'm fucking out, dude. Deuces. Like,
Yeah,
I
dude.
can't be a part of that. And that's, we don't really live in that world anymore where animals can be hurt on film sets and shit like that, which is good. They get caught up in the jungle after everything starts to go real sour. And all of a sudden our guide is gone. They lose him at some point. This is very Blair Witchy, where you've got one disappears and it's like, oh shit, we're just and everything's handheld, and
Yeah.
shaking around and shit. We do get some interlaced footage of them back at the New York headquarters looking through the footage. So we see some of that and like, oh, okay, yeah. And it's like, oh, how do we watch this? Oh,
Which is like the audience's first reaction film. They show in the commercial those audience reactions. Everybody like,
right.
and that's like what they're
Right,
going for here.
right.
This is like the
Yeah.
first thing of that.
Oh, you're right, 100%. And they're watching this while we're seeing now the team starting to get decimated by the tribes. We watch a brutal, violent rape and murder of Faye, the only woman that we have outside of the tribes women. That is awful. But first, somebody gets stuck with a fucking spear right in his chest. And then they just descend upon him, start pulling him all apart. And I want to say maybe eating him raw. You're just watching people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like a zombie film.
Yeah. In a lot of ways. Because the camera's moving all over and you just see little, fucking flashes something here or there. The last death, I want to say again, very similar to the Blair Witch. We see the camera fall. He gets
Yeah.
fucking thunked in the side of the head, and then all of a sudden the camera's on his side. We see him fall down, and then people killing the fuck out of him. Jump back to New York. They're like, fucking burn it.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's real or not. We don't know if anything, but just get rid of it. Yep, that's it. Because he's even like, there's no way they wanted him to go on TV or something and present it in some way. And he's like, there's no way I'm taking this footage out there,
Yeah.
especially with the brutality of the people. And they're like, well, just fucking burn it up, get rid of it. And then he walks out, maybe loads and lights a cool like smoking pipe. And are we the cannibals? Who's the real cannibals? And then we get some shots of New York. And it does force you to look at that question and say, okay, who really, we're people who will kill each other over sometimes like $20, sometimes over almost, things that seem trivial. Are we cannibalizing each other just in a different means, not eating the actual flesh, but just preying upon each other for our own individual gain?
Right.
Okay.
And watching it and filming things and putting it out there. And now, like we were talking about before we were filming, like we had like two horrible incidents in real life happen this week that just went on social media, and I saw some places where it was edited, and then I saw it unedited and was just
Yeah.
like, holy shit. And I
Yeah.
was like, we're doing the same fucking thing that this movie's warning us about. Fuck.
That's a legit snuff film watching him get shot in his chest. Or
We
watching him
learned
get shot.
nothing.
Right. So I want to hear your thoughts just overall first viewing before we do any scoring, and probably your only viewing ever.
Yeah, I'll never watch this again. I'm gonna burn every copy I ever find. If I ever find it in a video store, they're gonna be like, "Sir, you can't burn our movies," and I'll be like, "This one I can."
And this, is not the first. It might have been kind of the first, but there's a lot of exploitation stuff out there. But we've grown, like, I feel things have gotten even worse than, this with stuff like a Serbian film and Salo and August Underground and Pig
I've
and
never seen any of those.
and those
So
are
those are worse than this.
they take the extreme to, a fucking real place, man. Like a very real, intense. I want to say Guinea Pig, the Japanese one, and I could be wrong, could be making this up, but I think Nicolas Cage called the FBI and was like, "Yo, I saw a snuff film." Because it's fucking like that though, man. It's like, why are we making this? But then again, because I'm the asshole who will watch it and be like,
That's the thing is,
yeah,
yeah, it's shock. And I think that shock is like what people, why I think that's why people like Terrifier, they hear
yeah.
like how fucked up it is and they're like, let's go check it out.
Can I endure it from a safe
Yeah,
space? It gives you the opportunity to test your own limits from a safe space.
right.
But Terrifier at least has the humor of Art the Clown. Art the Clown he's grown into, I think the first time I saw the first movie and until that second movie came out, I was like, that clown is fucking scary, dude.
Yeah.
As the movies went on, he's gonna become less scary. And as I see more people dressed as, you don't see people dressed as Cannibal Holocaust. You see fucking Art the Clowns everywhere. Imagine if there's an animatronic with the woman on the pole at Spirit Halloween and she just
Walking in spirit. That's just the first thing you see with it.
just slides up and down. Spirit Halloween Extreme. 21 and over only can come through the doors. You're going to see the sickest animatronics you ever seen in your life.
Dude.
So, what are your thoughts?
What? Don't watch this ever in your whole life. Just stay away from it. Like, don't question yourself. Like, if you are like, I don't know if I can handle something like that, you can't. I thought I could handle something like that. I couldn't. It's bad, dude. If I'm a grown ass, I'm 47 years old. I had to avert my eyes. That's gnarly, dude. And you just like, you can't unsee it. Now I've seen it. I can't, like, every time I see a turtle now, I'm going to be like, look
Right.
at that beautiful turtle. Because this evil shit's going to pop into my head. It's like, you're better off without it, people.
There you go.
Take it from Pops Ghostly, take it from Duke Spooky.
There you go. So, out of 5 wrongly polled people, how many do you give Cannibal
This is
Holocaust?
impossible to fucking actually give a number to, dude, because as a movie, it works pretty fucking efficiently on what it's trying to do.
Sure.
If you wanted to fucking shock people, congratulations. I'm fucking shocked. I am shocked and appalled. As far as my enjoyment of a movie, which is how I normally do my rating, is based on how much I enjoyed it. It's a fucking 0 point negative nothing. Like, god damn it, I wish I could get that out of my brain. You know?
So,
But it is an effective, well-made fucking movie. Even more well-made than I expected.
sure.
Like, the stuff in New York and everything is shot really well. Like,
Even the
and
jungle shit it's all shot well. It's
yeah, I mean, it's not,
acted well. These people had to really portray some fucking brutal stuff. But
yeah.
you
And then you
also
hear,
learn, that they were going through it too at the same time.
right, the behind the scenes is almost as dark and fucked up as what you're seeing on screen.
If not more dark and fucked up than
Yeah, for real, dude. Yeah, it's
yeah.
just gross and it's bad. It's gross in a different way. It's not greasy, it's more chewy and hot and dirty and sweaty, like you said. Yeah,
Yeah.
you feel the heat and the
More
sweat.
grease. Now you would probably go back watch Greasy Strangler and be like, this is nothing. We've set a new fucking bar for you to be like, this is okay, so I'm gonna give this thing a 3 out of 5. Not necessarily because, like you said, from an enjoyment, like how you're gonna feel after you walk away from this.
Right.
It's very hard to be like, oh, to recommend it and be like, yeah, this is a fucking fun movie. Go away
Yeah,
with it.
yeah, dude. You're not gonna have a good time with anybody.
Right.
You have to ask yourself, like, why am I gonna put myself through this? If it's for a podcast,
Yeah.
that's probably the most valiant reason to watch this movie. If
Valid.
you're doing it because, yeah, like,
Right.
yeah, man. I mean, like, I jumped on the grenade for all of you people who haven't seen it yet. But if you're just like sitting down on a Friday night and you're like, I'm gonna watch Cannibal Holocaust, you're probably fucking eating human meat and jerking yourself off in a farmhouse somewhere. If you're watching this movie for fun.
You are Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. That
100%, dude. Yeah, like he's eating a TV dinner and like laughing his ass off.
right.
This movie.
Right, right. That's hilarious. For me, the score comes more for there is something to be taken away. There is something to be taken away from the message here. From a viewer standpoint, from a cultural standpoint, there's a lot to be taken away. And its contribution to the idea of found footage. Without something like this, trying this out, you wouldn't have a Blair Witch, you wouldn't have a Paranormal Activity, you wouldn't have the slew of things that came, after that whole found footage boom. And I appreciate the balls to try and do it.
Yeah,
No,
big old balls, hairy, soggy ones.
big old balls. Big
Yeah,
old
big like cannibalistic balls hanging out from underneath a loincloth.
balls that are eating your dick. It's like just cannibal balls.
And the balls.
The cannibal.
That's a movie.
Right. Um but it is hard with some of the behind the scenes stuff, but it's the same way I feel about The Shining and like The Birds, you read that shit and it's like, fuck.
Yeah, but Kubrick wasn't killing turtles
That
in The
is true,
Shining.
but he fucking drove a woman really
He
to
ruined a woman's life. Yeah.
yeah, to a dark place, dude. Like I want you to do this 237 times, or however many times when she's swinging the bat and it's fucking, she can barely move. That's because she had already done it 80, 90 times. And
Right.
he's just like, do it better. Yeah, fuck it. Rah, 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 rah. But these people we celebrate because it wasn't cannibals, it was the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we got? I did want to tell you real quick. I saw the new Conjuring, Last Rites.
Oh, I saw the lights went out on you.
Dude, so cool. So cool and fun. Like, and my kids in there with me, and we're just like, fucking this is crazy. Like, cause it's just definitely silent, dude, and just pitch black in there. I hope we get to talk about that sometime soon on the show. That was a ton of fun. But what do we have? What do we have next week? What do we have
Next
coming
week
up?
on the list is Ghoulies. Apparently, you wanted a palate cleanser.
And Ghoulies is such a great palate cleanser because that is something on a Friday night where if you're like, I just want to watch something fun and crazy. Um, yeah, so Ghoulies, awesome. I believe that's on Pluto or Tubi or something like that. You can watch it for free on the internet. So if you haven't seen Ghoulies, it's a fun one. I think there's 4 Ghoulies total. I remember in part 3 they go to college.
This is one of those ones we always talk about going through the video store and covers that jump out of you. And the little creature coming out of the toilet, like really. And I've never seen Ghoulies either.
Oh, sweet, sweet.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
fresh for me off this because of the fact that there's something coming out of the toilet. And when I was a kid, I was so fucking scared of being on the toilet. If I heard like something
Get
move in the
you.
water, I would get so scared, dude. And one time, my dad didn't give a shit about privacy. I'm taking a shit, dude. I heard something like moving the turds around. So I'm like looking, dude. I'm like taking a look, and my dad just opens the door and he goes, "What are you checking to see what a good job you did?" Most embarrassing moment of my life, dude. I was like, I can never look at my father. Like we're sitting at dinner and I can't look him in the eye because he like came in and saw me like checking the toilet bowl after pooped.
You're like, hell yeah, I am. You want to come check it out?
I was like, I
Oh,
did a pretty good job, as a matter of fact.
that's awesome, dude. That's pretty awesome. Ghoulies, that'll be fun. That'll be a good one. So it is time to pause for the living. Pause for the living. I had to get a little singing in there somewhere because I couldn't do it at the beginning because I knew it was coming.
No, dude, no. But I think that you need to redeem yourself with this pause for the living. This really better be something.
This, I think, is something that anybody can appreciate. I think this is something that you can view from almost any angle, from any place where you live, and you can find it somewhere and apply it. So I'm driving home from Port Huron. I was down there working for a week or so. Did a really cool tattoo yesterday, this big Poseidon tattoo that I really like.
I saw that thing, dude. That's sweet, man. If you guys haven't checked out like Pops's tattoo stuff, go check it out, man. It's all over the
Thanks.
internet. Do you
Yeah.
have your own? Is it just you post on your personal one,
On
like
the
your art, or do you
yeah,
have?
I mean, it's essentially like my Facebook is not I put a little bit of personal shit on there, but it's mostly tattoo podcast
Yeah.
stuff, just more putting that stuff out there. But when I was driving home today, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna take the back way and get lost and not turn my GPS on or anything. I ended up driving through a bunch of small town Michigan, drove through the heart of Flint, Michigan, like, what some people would call the ghetto. Um, Drove just all over the place, but there was this one tree I drove by. I'm driving, and it's this big fucking tall green tree. It's beautiful, just huge at the top. Bright orange spot, just like radiant orange, dude, where the leaves are starting to turn. We're getting to that time of the year here where everything is starting to turn and change and shit like that. And I don't, out of nowhere, it just kind of struck me. I've been watching leaves change my whole life. I've experienced that being in a lot of different environments, a lot of different geographical areas. And I don't know why it hit me, but I was like, the tree never fucking complains when it's changing. It doesn't complain in the imagine if trees could if you heard leaves like, oh, I'm not green anymore. Fuck, I want to be green. Why do I gotta
Like the
be
trees from
orange?
Wizard of Oz.
Right,
How
right.
would you like it if someone picked something off of you?
Right, exactly. But the trees don't complain. And I think that's, man, we know trees don't make sounds and shit like that, like and talk and whatnot. But the idea of just being in whatever state of change you're in, just be in it and be there. Because you'll probably be, if you just accept it, you'll probably be fucking beautiful in what you're in anyway. And change is the only constant.
Mhm.
There is no other constant outside of change. And so it's just being in change. And I was talking to my brother not too long ago, and we were talking about trees. I fucking like trees, dude. I can just, I grew up around trees and shit. But I was like, the tree never either. Like, I can't imagine a tree complaining, like, oh, I'm an elm tree and I wish I was an oak tree. Fuck. I wish. Look at that shrub. Oh, that rose bush is so beautiful. I want to be more like the weed growing through the crack and like I'm coming up wherever, dude. I'm coming up. But just accept your place if you can find a way to just be okay in this ever moving, changing universe that we are a part of, that we are aware of ourselves in. But yeah, that tree just looked right down at me and was like, boom, just out of nowhere. I was like, the trees don't fucking whine about shit. You know what I mean? And in the face of change, though, and then I mused on it for a little while, but it really kind of made sense. I was like, in the face of change, it doesn't make any, just roll with it. Just
Yeah.
just go with be beautiful in every state.
Yeah, man. Just be a beautiful fucking tree. Like no matter what you look like, just be a beautiful fucking tree.
Right.
Yeah.
Get sad when things change. Don't get sad
Well,
that summer is over. Don't get sad that you're all of a sudden, whatever and whatever age. Just
all
be
of our innovation as human beings has led to us creating more comfort. Everything that is a jump in technology too has been to create more comfort, to make life more easy for us, because
Mhm.
we're not out plowing fields anymore. We're not
Yeah, dude.
slaughtering our own meals.
Right.
You know, we're not
Some
cannibal holocausting a fucking pig so that we can eat our dinner. We just go to the store, you go to McDonald's and get some chicken nuggets. You don't have to eat an aborted fetus. You just get you just get to be comfortable. And now we have so much anxiety because we're so goddamn comfortable. And we really do, like, I mean, let's use your metaphor of a tree. Like, a tree is just out there in the rain and the wind and the sun. It doesn't get to pick, but it's still a fucking great ass tree
right.
because it just is like good with whatever. And we need to get back to that a little bit more as people. And it'll take a ton of fucking anxiety off of your back if you can realize that being uncomfortable isn't the worst thing in the world. And chances are, by putting yourself in the uncomfortable situation, you're going to grow some new leaves.
You're right, dude. 100%. That was really well said, dude. That was really well said. Oh, I also looked at the same tree and said the tree is a result of the sun, some water, and a seed having a three-way.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's a sexy nature right there.
Right. But we are very comfortable, and I think we have more free time than we've ever had before in human history. There wasn't a lot of lounging around outside of maybe like royalty and shit, but that
Yeah.
was the exception.
And I think AI is going to make it even worse because you're not going to have to go mow your lawn even because your mower is going to AI it and fucking just mow your lawn for you.
You could go out there and just map out all the borders of your lawn and then set up a robot that knows the parameters to turn
Yep.
here, turn there, and you
They have those little Roombas, dude. Why not a fucking yard Roomba?
right. Oh, it's coming, dude.
Yeah, dude. Shh, we gotta cut that out, dude. I'm gonna use
Yard room and giant fucking huge disc in your yard.
it's like a riding mower, but
Right.
people are just like sucking up little kids and shit.
Oh, the yard Roomba. It's coming. It's fucking coming. Um, so anyway, yeah, change. Try to be okay with change. That's an important thing. To be okay with that life is going to change. And if you look back throughout a lot of history, it's kind of all just always been the same anyway. It's the same behaviors that just regurgitate in new scenarios and technological advances. We're in a weird pocket of time though. Like I don't think anything's advanced as fast as it has in the last, maybe since irrigation or some shit.
Right.
Right, like proper irrigation of land.
Our parents used to say, like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I was just
Right.
like, there was bread that wasn't sliced for you? Like, what the fuck?
Man, I read some once. I don't know if it's true, but that's what they would do with the bread in like medieval times and whatnot. They would take the bread and use it like a napkin, like rip a chunk off, use it to clean your fingers, and then throw it to the dogs. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, dude, clean your hands with some bread and throw it to your dog. Just start getting real, man. Get back to it. And I'm not saying go from like playing video games for 24/7 and like, you know, just sitting there being fat and typing on your computer. Like, I'm not saying like then go out and take a camping trip. That's going to end bad. But just dip your toe in. Go outside when it's sprinkling.
Right.
Try that.
Just touch the grass. Be out.
Yeah, dude, walk in the grass with no shoes on. When was the last time you did it? Probably you did it like yesterday, but like other people, I'm saying
Yeah.
our audience. Go
Right.
take your shoes off. Go make fists with your toes.
Connect with the earth, man. Feel it.
Connect with the
Feel,
earth.
feel grounded in it. All right, man. For the Horror Pop Extravaganza, we will try not to do this to you again. All those movies I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to bring them to the show unless there was some crazy demand. They're like fucking Serbian film. And that's when I don't know if you would make it through. Like this is bad, but that's like more, and the fact that it's so well shot. Like, yeah, it's fucking crazy. All right, for the Horror Pop Extravaganza, don't forget to like and subscribe to help us grow the show. If you could do that, that would be sweet. I have been Pops Ghostly,
I'm Duke Tree Loving Spooky.
and we'll talk to you, beautiful souls, next week.
No! No! No!
Horror Pop Extravaganza.